Aditya Azad, are you belonging to file section?
Yes, sir.
Mobile application development is the
Yes,
course
sir.
name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your number?
5016.
5016. Okay, Aditya Pushpam Azad. Okay, good. From the chalk pad, you download 4 lecture notes are uploaded. Just download it until the students are joining.
Okay, sir.
Wait for Akash Chopra. It will take 5 minutes. Yes, Aditya, we downloaded.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just have a look on it. It's very simple and easy. What's the date? 7. Sharing the screen right now. There's a usage of radio buttons, choices based on that. The developer must know the concept of radio button, what happens in it. The problem to enable the radio button operations to show the usage and accessibility by creating a simple app in Android Studio. And I want to inquire, Azad, whether you are doing practice regularly with this Android
Yes, sir.
Studio.
Yes, sir.
How many exercises you have completed up to now?
Sir, 4 exercises.
Only 4. All are staying below 5 alone. There are number of lecture notes and the tutorial increases day by day. Practice it in your ST2 positively on October 20th. Wait a minute. 21st, 9:30 to 10:30. It is scheduled that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That is 9:30 to 11. It's not 1 hour. It's 1.5 hours. 90 minutes. October 21st. And you may have 5 projects. 5 problems will be provided. Each carries 10 mark. Very clear? We have to plan accordingly, and 5 exercises within 1.5 hours you have to complete and show the output and the working methodology. It will be the real evaluation. Practice every exercises. There won't be no MCQ questions will be there. Divyansh Suraj, whether he is belonging to our class. Divyansh, are you 5L student? Divyansh Suraj, say your last 4 digits of number. Unmute and talk. No. Okay, he left the class. Aditya, you follow. No 4L students. Using the radio buttons. Have you gone through this? Radio buttons we know. First you come to the design, name the project and the name of using radio buttons. Here, based on the radio group and radio buttons, 2 concepts are there. Radio buttons inside the radio group. So 2 buttons. If we press this show selected, a toast with the toast, the message will be displayed accordingly. If you are not selecting any of the radio button, you are pressing show selected, it will throw. You are supposed to select any one of the option provided in the radio button. Then you press, that information will be delivered. See, hereafter no need to go in depth, everything are clear. Only the radio button group and radio buttons, these 2 widgets from where we have taken. This is called a radio group. This box, inside the radio group, we have placed 2 radio buttons. Azad, are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Good, good. That's all. Radio group, and these 2 are radio buttons we have placed, and text we have converted, and in the strings XML, those text are hard-coded text are provided with the constants, string constants, by which we have defined. These are all the activities, you know, only this is information display and this is information display. So these widgets are involving in manipulation. So this ID is radio button RB Punjab, and this is a radio button HP, RB HP. This particular box is a radio group we said, that is RG RB. And if you see this buttons, you come here, you can find the radio group as well as radio button. From there you have to drag and place it. A normal button, this is button is for SB, selection button. This ID is provided as SB. In the main activity, necessary imports are done. A button, if you are not using that, we can remove. So in the declaration, widget variable declaration, radio button under the name RB campus, radio button campus, radio group RG campus. These 2 variables we declare. Under this linking XML ID, we are linking with the radio group this RB is provided as the value of this particular RG and RB. Radio group widgets ID that is now linked for the manipulation at this place under the variable RG campus radio group variable. Are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Then here a new method on click button method in which we are declaring one integer variable, whatever may the name you can provide. Here it is given as RG radio group button selected ID. Then that is given with radio group and get checked radio button ID. We are getting the button ID from which RB campus, the same radio group variable again assigned with the selected ID. If the selected ID here, the validation part I haven't provided. If it's not selected, we can provide a particular validation part. If else is there, one more if else block we can make use. If this particular button -1 in the sense, no campus is selected is provided. Then if some value in the sense 0 or 1 will be there, radio button 0 and radio button 1. Accordingly, according to that ID, what it's selected, this ID is having numerical value, integer value. Based on that, toast make the text through which the particular activities radio group RB button campus in which what two radio buttons we have placed on which we have provided the text that is fetched through get text method RB campus dot get text. The text is nothing but you can understand this particular we are having the text as HP Chitkara HP campus. And if another one, Punjab, Chitkara Punjab campus. These two are the text. When you are selecting and pressing the button, that corresponding button text will be fetched and that will be displayed on the screen. These are all the logical code, the programming manipulation code, one which button is not used. And button is used with the on-click button method. This is specified in here itself. See, buttons on-click method is there in which we have specified on-click button method. Here we are supposed to specifically mention unless we have to link this particular widget with its ID in the manipulation and through dot set on-click listener, we have to call that. Through that method, we have to call and manipulate. Instead of that, we have defined its attribute value in the XML itself on-click button method. And based on that, we are manipulating. That's the difference from the existing up to now what we saw.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I will show you how it executes. These are all very simple exercises. Once you are supposed to practice, if the practice is available within that 90 minutes, 5 mini projects with a new problem based on the task discussed, task trained concepts will be provided in the examination. 5 questions, each carries 10 marks, 50 marks, 1.5 hours. You are compulsorily to practice unless you cannot do at the time, even you cannot get from anywhere else. Now see here, this is now available using radio buttons from our design. These 2 buttons are available in the radio group. Now, without selecting, we are pressing that no campus is selected. That information is given here at this point. No campus is selected. That is, if that particular group selection information is -1, that in the sense there is nothing is selected, it is given as -1. Or 0, radio button 0 and radio button 1. That's a value, the selection value. Okay. If it's not, -1 in the sense any of the button will be selected. That's a constant context. Now, so Chitkara HP campus. Based on the text what we provided on the radio button, that is fetched through RB campus, radio button campus, and get text. Again, we are selecting this and show selected. Based on the text, again it is fetched and it is displayed. So now it's another possible, it's not possible what in the sense we cannot uncheck the option box. Once, so that's a radio button. Once it is selected and initiated, a selection must be provided. We cannot give uncheck operation. That's by default. Now come to this tutorial. The same is provided in it. And the code what we have given and what constraints value we have provided, that is available on it. And the string values what based on this string only, this text only. In the Java manipulation, from this text is fetched for the toast message display. And main activity in which literally have to concentrate. We are using a radio button as well as a radio group. A radio group is a container wherein which radio buttons can be placed on it. Campus is selected and what we are selecting accordingly, the information will be presented. You have to work on it. Again, any doubt you have to call and discuss. Is it clear? Azad?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Shall we go to the next one? So next in this, usage of radio buttons with Android app from the new development app. But we are not placing these buttons, radio buttons, drag and drop mode of XML design. We are creating these radio buttons through Java code. Now, if you see the screen, you can identify. Is the screen is visible?
Yes, sir. It's
In our design, we have not placed any of the widgets. Radio buttons are not fetched. This type of creation is known as through Java code. That's programmatically unless dynamically. We are creating during runtime, it is created. The Java manipulation which brings these widgets on the screen, and we can specify due to constraint layout, some parameters are not provided here. So top of the 0,0 position, these two radio buttons will be displayed in our output. So now see here, instead of creating radio button through drag and drop, Atindra Mishra is not our student. Okay, now see here. Now the concept is drag and drop mode of widget placement is not available in this project. Drag and drop from the palette, Android also facilitates to create it dynamically. For creating dynamic radio button, we use Android view.viewGroup.layout params, which configures the width and height of the views and implements set on check change listener. It's a method of radio group class. We have the view with the Android Studio. Are you following now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Dynamic radio button demo. If you come across the activity main, see less of code is available. In the design mode, none of the widget is placed. This is the first time. So in such a sense, everything can be planned and prepared and we can place on our design mode using the Java code. That's a concept. As for the strings, nothing is provided because we have not created anything on the design mode. The activity main is given here. First, we will have the output, what happens in it. Yeah. So in our design, this dynamic radio button demo default from the project name. The title will be provided. That's not from our manipulation. Then apart from that, these two widgets are now through Java code, they are displayed at the 0,0 position. Now in this, if you select, it will throw Chitkara Himachal Pradesh campus. Another one, Chitkara Punjab campus. Here there is no need to provide a button because we are not doing any click event based any design. We are not providing in the XML design mode. That's why I avoided the button directly. By the click of this, you can get the message. Are you clear what logic behind this?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now we will go create the project named the dynamic radio button demo. The design, nothing is provided. No XML IDs are provided in this work. Then activity main, due to no widgets are placed, only the Android constraint layout is initiated, and using the symbol here the tag is closed. None of the thing is there. In strings also we are not having any value in the main activity. That's a Java code. Come here. You must have the concentration here. Here also text view is not used. Okay, leave it. So here we are using radio group as well as a radio button. And constraint layout, what layout we are using, whether it's a linear layout or relative layout, for which a widget variable is needed to fill wherever. So radio group and its variable is RG, radio button and its variables are, that's the two buttons we are using. So RBHP and RBPB, radio button Punjab, I have mentioned. Construction layout के लिए constraint layout for the purpose we declared CL. Now we are entering into that. Then RG, that's a new radio group of this particular activity because it is not placed anywhere else. So we are creating this. Then CL, constraint layout, find view by ID based on constraint layout. Only one thing we have provided in the main. This is the layout. Once you are clicking this layout, you can provide the ID here. That is constraint capital L layout. I have given the ID for the constraint layout alone. That constraint layout is now linked. CL is equal to the XML ID of the layout is now linked for the manipulation. Then if so, we can say constraint layout can be written in the XML. Okay, leave it. I'll rearrange that. RBHP, radio button. HP is the new radio button of this. How we have created here. Radio group is a new radio group of this in similar mode. New radio button as well as RB also new radio button of this. So now they are linked and radio group and two radio buttons are created at this end. And these, when we have created these value, the text value has been assigned, has to be assigned, and we are assigning according to the context. Then this radio group view we are enabling for these two buttons. Under the radio group add view, the view is initialized. Then constraint layout, and that is TV is not used. This line is not necessary. Just a minute, I will delete it. Constraint layout, that's a layout params, a new variable I'm using here CLPRM for the constraint layout related parameters, height, width, left margin, even it's provided constraint layout, it's not providing the proper value. Anyhow, we have to use, and later we can correct it. CLPRM, constraint layout parameters. New constraint layout parameters and int constraint layout wrap content. According to the constraint layout, what we are placing, that must be wrapped complete based on the content. Content in the sense, in the output you can see. So this is restricted with this point alone. Match with the parent in the sense it will be expanded up to this. Here we have given a wrap with the content. Even we can change this to the parent and we can check what happens. The similar mode, another parameter inside that, new constraint layout parameters, in which the height and width both are mapped with wrap content. And margin, left and top margin, I have specified, even though it's not functioning, it provides only the 0,0 position it displays. We'll check that also. Then radio group set layout parameters of this corresponding parameter, this variable what we are having, that's object, new object in which what we mentioned that will be substituted in this method. Then constraint layout, add the view for radio group. RG is a radio group. It is provided. Now after this command, these widgets will be displayed on the screen. Then rg.set on checked change listener. That's a radio group, comma, on checked change listener. Under this method, we are again calling the check ID. Based on the check ID, it provides the value and the text what we set on these two variables. There is a set text. Here we have set the text on it. The same text is brought back with this method radio button dot get text, and message would be passed. This particular line is responsible for showing the radio group on the screen. At this end, after setting all these values, it will display the radio group on the screen. Then based on the selection using this radio button and get text method, the text what we set it in our manipulation code, Java code, that will be appropriately brought to the view. Now we have already experienced the output. Yeah. Now again the similar problem. Once the radio button is selected, you cannot unselect. That will remain as it is. Azad, are you clear little? Today the topics are little high.
Yes, sir.
For your concentration. So leftover all projects you are supposed to get ready before the examination begins. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now check boxes. So here design is needed for the checkbox, and this particular tutorial completely provides the information how to do and what is the output. And here the checkboxes, how they are to be manipulated, used, that information will be available here. And the same 3 checkboxes, there is no group for it. atomic text boxes, sorry, checkbox has to be placed and one button we are placing. When we are checking this, the particular information will be expanded. That's the logic. First, I will show you the output, then we'll go to the explanation. And see these values are given ID, CS, EC, and EE. That is 3 department in a acronym I have given. And when we are pressing, selecting and pressing, the particular acronym will be provided with expanded detail. Now see this, without doing any check, if you provide last row, no checkbox is checked, select the checkbox, then proceed. And if you select, so CSC, Computer Science and Engineering, the above details in the checkbox. This particular trial example demo project, what it provides, whenever you are using this checkboxes in your application, how to manipulate, what sort of activities you are supposed to perform. For that training, this is provided. Now 2 boxes are selected. Now see, it will be appended, CSC and EC, those 2 information will be provided. If you are providing all 3, it's say all the information in appending mode. And strings for the CSE, CE, EE, string values are different. Come to this. A similar mode, checkboxes 3 we are using, 1 button click we are using, their corresponding imports are available. Inside the on create method, we are not writing anything. Again, add listener on button click. Under this method, we are writing. We are declaring this here after the entire activity is created, then it directly calls this particular method. Under this method, because the checkbox has to be written in such a way. Under this method, again linking the variables of Java with the XML IDs. That's happening. This is very well known. You are not doing all these sort of activity inside the on create method. Here you are when only one line you are writing, add listener on button click, under which we are writing. So now see here, chk dot set on click listener. Whenever we are finalizing this button click, under this has to be executed. That is chk is nothing but the selected. Expand the terms. That's the information. So in which again on click method is invoked for the button. String builder for concatenating the text, what is needed. Well, we are using a string builder. That's a variable name is the result. That result is now used as a new string builder. A result dot append. In the first line, it will select abbreviations, selected abbreviations, and its expansions is a detail. If CSE is one checkbox, EC is another checkbox, EE is another checkbox. I have given the variables in such a way, then it is not selected. All are not selected in the sense result, in which selected abbreviations will be there along with results.append. Through the string builder concept, we are adding this lines of text. No checkbox is checked. Select the checkboxes and proceed with checkbox or checkboxes, proceed with the and expand the terms button. That's the information. This is if it's not selected. If any of the one is selected, in the else part I'm providing, there also we are using 3 if blocks. This is checked, result.append. That's all the simple concept. If ECE, that variable in the sense the corresponding checkbox is checked, you print. Here I'm not providing, it's not else, only if all 3 pressed one by one, it will be appended. If only 2 is selected, along with this information, these 2 will be selected. Whatever you are selecting, that will be printed. And finally, one more line of statement I am appending with the string builder result.append the above details in the checkbox summary. The above detail is the checkbox summary I have given. Even you are using this particular statement or not, you can conclude the task. And finally, you are displaying everything in the this particular application context. Result.string we are converting, and in the toast method we are substituting. Instead of the string, we are using this string builder object result.toString. From what string is available on it, that will be displayed. This is the simplest concept on it. And one more thing, now I cannot cover in the class discussion, this online discussion. You have a view on 24th lecture notes. That's alert dialog box. As a
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
alert dialog box is provided. All these 4 project folders are available on the Google Drive, already uploaded.
Okay, sir.
In chart box also, sorry, chalk pad also, I have uploaded all the lecture notes. Have a practice on it. Little tight schedule today. 4 different exercises you are supposed to follow. Alert dialog box also you can easily follow. Have a practice on it.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it clear?
Yes,
Shall
sir.
I terminate this session? I'm supposed to go to the offline class right now.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Good.
sir.
Yeah, welcome. You can also log out.